yeah. Same problem. So we will just change this one. All right. So exports and how to use them. So let's first talk about the difference between exports and the Python referencing we all know. So when I use a constant and let's say another constant, I can export my chop value into one of these parameters by just drag and dropping, and there are two ways of doing it. One is the export chop and one is the relative chop reference. And what the relative chop reference is doing is it's calling, it's evaluating this Python expression and pulling the value from our constant. And when I use the export chop, what's happening is we push the value actually to this constant. So if the value inside of our chop is not changing, we actually do not have to evaluate the expression. So we can save some processing power with it, even though Ivan told last time that they managed to speed up the evaluation. But what is also happening is that in this chop in any way, we create an export table, which is here, which is just a table showing which channel is going to which parameter of some operator. So we have a pretty good overview, because when we start to have several diving into several bases, for example, and we want to change the way where something is going, we could go inside our base, or what we could do is have everything on one place and export it from there. So yes, exactly. So for example, we can change this one to color G, and then we have to turn the exporting one on and off again, and then we can change it this way. And that's actually what I did here with this called export slider, because what we can do is we can just drag and drop our some parameter inside and then have a list of all the different parameters where we can export to. So let's say, for example, let's take the sides, and we need at least 3 and 10, and then we can use the slider to change this parameter, and you can see the sides. So, and when I change it now to radius X, you see the export is there now. We could do it with scripts and like write the expression inside of this and delete it from the old one, or update the values completely with scripts, which is also doable and fine. But from time to time, I like this way of handling the situation. So how did I do it? I use a lot of this evaluate. I really like it. So I just have to, how do I, yeah, this one is an export table, we don't need it. I just had it as a blueprint for my own one. So what I use is this combination of a table, and I feed this table into an evaluate that to create my own export table, and then I can just add a null, use this one and define this one as my export table, as my definition. So what I do in this one is I have to set the strings into, so what an evaluate that does, it's taking every cell and interprets it as a Python expression. So I can put everything in there, which I already do, for example, inside of my other things, and it gets converted into some kind of semi native programming. So it's not fed into the Python interpreter every time, but it gets converted into another kind of script which is faster than the regular Python. So when I just want to have a name or some string, I have to put them in exclamation marks, so they're interpreted as and given out as strings. So I can use this one to actually access my parent par OP, and it will just give me the full path of the OP. I put in the OP parameter of the export slider, and I can get the parameter par, and it interprets it, and yeah, so I get my complete export table. So when we have a look and I just change it, you can see it's automatically filling this up. I could even do it with more than one OP, for example, if I would have to change a little bit, but I could like take several OP parameters, like take 5, and then for every OP parameter I could create a new export table.
Or you were in the same export table?
In the same export table, yeah. I could change this export table to export to more than one OP at a time, but to make it easier, like one slider is exporting to one.
Just duplicate your slider?
Yes, exactly. So I can just go like this and drop the constant, say OP, and also say here OP, and now I can say color R, color G, and color B, and set them all from 0 to 1. And when I go to so it's really easy to build your interface this way.
Let's go.
So this is the idea behind why I built this. And so if you're interested in, so what I did also is I use extensions because it's easier to call them and from the inside. So I just, for example, the on value change, and I look out for the OP, and so just the moment the OP changes, I just call this one function. So it's the set par menu, and it's here where I take the OP parameter and get all the parameters. So it's unfiltered, like you get everything. It would break actually if you use the function as custom, if you set a custom parameter to have like several values in a row, because then you get like an array of parameters. So I would have to go through this one again. So it's at the moment just working for this one, and yeah, I'm creating two lists which are empty, and actually clearing them. I don't know why. Then I just go through all the parameters and append the names and the names again. So because what I'm doing here is a customized component, and you can, at the parameter string menu, you can set your own lists in it, and like the labels is what's going to be shown here. So when I say std switcher, I could actually say foo. Then we have foo, but what is given out is still the std switcher one. And there's my extension. No, there's my extension. And then what I'm doing is just setting the parameter and the menu labels, menu names and menu labels to the list names, and it's just going to put this one in. I think this is actually for this. What you have to do also, when you change this is another one. It's again, but this time it's looking for the parameter. When this one changes, you have to set the export on and off again to get the new export destination. But for this one, it's working. I made another component where I think it's more useful. It's the it's the Icoc Mapper. Maybe someone of you has already seen it. And I already changed it to implemented MIDI. And I'm going to implement OSC DMX, so ArtNet for it. And so the way this one works is you drop any component in, like in this case the test component, and then it's going to look up every component inside this test component. You can say how deep into the component you want to go, and in the end it's doing the same. It's looking for all the parameters and write them into a table, and then I can look up an OSC message and map this OSC message dynamically into the thing. And yeah, same thing is done here with the MIDI. You can you have to turn it off. I can say if it's a node or control, and yeah, again I can say circle and say the border alpha, for example. So here's the OSC mappings. This one is done with the replicator mainly, and yeah, and again here's we have the evaluate that with the parameter taken from here, and so it's just feeding one drop-down menu into the other one, so it's like the drop-down centipede. Yeah. I'm just thinking if I have another one where it's more, where I use text exports, because what a lot of people don't know, and it took me some time to realize it, is you could not just export float values from chops, but you can actually export text, so string values out from a table. So where I use this is it's going to take a little moment to I mainly do this for the purpose of saving energy. Yeah, here's the video layer, and here you can see that even the file is exported to it. So again, because like this top is definitely going to run every frame. So I don't want to have, when I have like, I think something like 7 or 8 layers running at the same time, every frame 7 7 codes of the Python interpreter. Ivan's going to kill me. And how I did it is we can, yeah, here it is. So we have some more. We have the path, parameter, value, and enable. So it's nearly the same as a regular export table. And then you can just press the export on and on. So where you could use this one, for example, so what I'm doing is I have a table of all my video files in my folder, and then I'm just using, I don't know for what, whatever. Yeah, and then I'm using another evaluator to get the file index out of 1OP and just select the path of my video file. And then I'm feeding this one again into an evaluator, which is here. Just takes the me input cell value and puts it out as a string again, which is important, and just feed it into my node, which is then used to export directly to the footage file in. So it's you could probably use same way, like I'm just thinking like we could create a table with where you select your video destination and which looks for every movie file in, and you just have a drop-down list for every movie file and where you can select your file, and it's all contained in one container. So I don't know actually, what does the clock say? If you're interested, I could build it with you. I don't know. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's see if we can do it in time. So we have 10 minutes now. Okay, yeah, I think it's definitely possible. Okay, so we're using customized component. Let's have the settings. Let's get a folder. Let's say video folder. Okay, we have it added. Zack. Let's select. Let's take some cartoons actually. All right, then we take a folder dot. This one is just running once in a while, so it's totally fine. Let's say parent. All right, we have, let's say we only want the movie extensions, and we only want files. Okay, then we take from the UI, TUKI, and let's say lists, and let's take this drop list, and we drop this one in and take a select because we only want to have the names. So and now we can have a drop list with all our movie files, and we don't need this any longer. And we actually want to have this 20 because we're going to take a second select, take this one, and just put the, let's call this one index, and say, Index row 0. All right. Okay, so we have our path. Now we're going to take a table. And it's going to be, oh, I forgot the, I think it's path, parameter, value, and yeah, enable. And do not forget to put this stuff in here. Okay, we are going to use a parent par we have to make this one destination. The parameter is just have to see file in. Yeah, it's the file. So, and as the value, we are going to be op select 2 and 0, 0, and we're going to enable it. Going to feed this one in the evaluate that, and this one is going to be a null. Okay, so customize component, say op destination, and let's put this one in. All right, so let's we're going path parameter. It's called parameter, not par. Parameter. All right, let's redo it. Ah, yeah, I forgot the All right, so now we can use the drag and drop to choose our movie, and we could now create more of this. Let's take this one to a width of, I think it's 200 by 20, yep. All right, okay, so we're going to take an OP find, and we're going to want to have a movie file in top, and we can use this one with replicator, feed this one in the replicator as the template, feed this one as the master operator, and let's call all of this one container. So, and here we are just going to destination is going to be let's get the path also, and we can just say op find 1. We're going to take the row is me.digits, which is the number. So in this case 1. For the second one it's going to be the 2. Me.digits, and we want to have we want to have the path. So this is going to be the column path, and we have to set this one and replicate again. So now we have a place where we can, and if we go up, we can say children bottom to top, and then we already have our menu to create different to control all the movie file intops from one place. We could actually go a little bit deeper, because now if we say, okay, I want to have these three collapse. Where is the collapse? So we're going to collapse this one. We're going to collapse this one, and then we are going to collapse this one, and here we are also like, yeah, okay, let's collapse this, these two, so they are all over the place. And to just like change something inside of this, it would be very tedious. So what we can just say with the tedious, we can say maximum def, and now we got back the control of all of our movie file and tops in just 8 minutes.
That was a real speaker. Well done.
Huh?
So did you record that as well?
Yeah.
Oh, it's recorded online.
Yes.
I have a question. So, what
Yes.
just a recap of what you did here. Because
Yes.
obviously I wasn't able to follow the steps, but you wanted to have make on these 8 minutes a way, or maybe it's better to say. In these 8 minutes, what did you build? You built a way to choose whichever files you want.
Yes, I built like I built a control surface, a central control surface, which is not dependent on where the files or where the operators are, but it's all in one place, and it's actually pushing the data out, and it's distributing all the data to the different operators. So I don't have to go deeper inside of my network to change anything about it. Yeah, for example, but or change any values about it, because I can just go inside of my distribution center and make adjustments if necessary. So like, because now I can just collapse this one. Yeah, it's just have to.
But I mean, to be really consequent, you would now do the same drop-down menu for all your movie file outs.
Yeah.
And then you would have like the routing.
Yeah.
Like movie file 1 goes to output 3. This goes to output
Yeah,
5.
for example. Or I could, for example, have. We could use it when I have like 5 tops, for example, which or 5 bases, which all create are generating content or just tops and have tops out. I could, for example, create a router with like 4 outputs. Then I could say, okay, output 1 gets the output of base 1, output 2 gets the output of base 3. Then I could just export the path of the out to the select to a select top, for example. Yeah, I just wanted to change the component type to a container so we actually can see our buttons again. Top to bottom. So now if we go in here, oh yeah, I think.
So because you're using the op find,
Yes.
and you're going several levels deep
Yes.
in the network, but it returns the full path to the
Yes,
node.
exactly.
These, no matter where you move them around,
Yes,
as long as they're still
yes,
within that
and
level,
it will always
the path
update.
is updating.
Yes.
And the export pushes to
Yes,
okay.
exactly. So
Cool.
so
That's-
also this is one of the problems when you use the when you use a Python expression, because then you would have to, you can use like the parent finder with the parent op find and the parent shortcut.
Yeah.
but you will always have to know where is my file right now and
you have
where
to
is it.
remember that where you put your operator set.
Yes, yes,
Look up
yes,
instead of
exactly.
looking in one spot, which is fanning everything down.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly, this is like one of the ideas, and you can do the same with your faders. For example, I'm just going to not save it.
You didn't save it, doesn't
No.
Oh my god.
I can build you a nicer one if you want to. I have to go to Touch Designer. There we will have. I think it's all green. It's something I'm working on at the moment to get a new version. So what this one does is it loads generated tox files and looks for the custom parameters and creates sliders for them and exports the values to the slider. It's not working. But good question. Why?
So you can have. Is the idea that you can load any external tox? And
Yes.
The controls.
Yes, and
Cool.
I have to. Okay, it's exporting. So again, I use the parent slider master P generators, and then I take with the digits. I just read out the values from here and evaluate them to where they should go. Okay, this is just color definition. Yeah, just looking where I got the range from. Okay, I didn't. I do not have the from to the range at the moment, the rearranger. Okay, but I would just have a look. So again, I use the v1 index path, the parameter, and the enable. I think there's the problem because it's so I have the UI and I have the engine, and in the engine is the generator. Okay, I don't know why now it's working. So you see, I just have it completely different parts. I have the UI, which is which is having these values here. So let me just. Okay, so yeah, it's a complete separate part which just takes all the values, looks it up, puts it into a table, and then it's this whole component is not doing anything if I don't touch it. So the engine can run and run and run, and I have the resources bundled here like it's taking a little bit. And this one is actually slower. So and it's completely dynamic.
Yeah.
Like you can use all at the moment it's just sliders from 1 to 0, but I'm going to implement buttons like toggle buttons and also field where you can put in your own text, because we can also export text into the parameters. So quite powerful.
That's really cool.
I think quite powerful.
Where do you get the list from all the custom parameters?
It's done. Here I have the OP find, and it's a good question.
There's an operator that just gets the.
No, it's a script. It's
You know, the operator who gets this shop.
Yeah.
Parameter shop, right?
Yeah. And there's also a parameter execute.
No. Okay. I have this load generator, which is just a base, and when the base gets created, I with all OPs, it's selecting from. I use a folder that again to find all my tox files in the given folder, and what it does is it is another base which is then used to load the external tox. I used one of these. I know it's hypocritic, but yeah. So I'm loading this, and the moment it's loaded, I call. I again made an extensions and used the fill def, and this one is just writing. So I use all custom parameters on page 1. I could actually use like for a y in custom pages and then just take this one, but it's easier to just say, okay, take the first one for now. Yeah, then I'm just writing it in here, and at the UI element, it's looking really funny. And what I do in the UI again is I'm using select, and what I do is I just select this one. Again, here I use the parent shortcut because now I'm cross-referencing, but I could probably just take this one and export all the values into the UI part, for example. But it's not always going export and not always going Python expression, but I think it's like the...
Yeah. Is it the convenience versus
Yes,
performance?
yes, definitely.
There's
So,
a function in the TD-JSON module
mm-hmm.
that returns the lists of your pages of custom parameters that you can just call rather than iterating over.
Yeah, but then I would have to, it's just going to be done, this iterating. It's just once on load up when I load the thing, and afterwards I would again have to make it back and create a table out of the JSON. So
you have to iterate anyway.
yes, because I need the table. The table is definitely necessary for this one. All right. Any more questions?
Have you thought about using the same idea of having the one central control panel for selecting which movies go to which operators, but instead selecting which LFOs go exported to which parameters?
Sure. It's like what I showed before with the OSC. I could rewrite it without a problem, or even the probably what I did the router, I could remake or just fill it in a different way to fit, like to just get all the chops I have,
Yeah.
and then just route the chops to any parameter I like.
That's always when you build something and you've got effects controls. I always end up wanting to just be able to assign them to LFOs.
Yes.
And having one central place.
Yes.
To be like, make that a triangle wave, make that a sine wave.
Yeah, sure. It shouldn't be a problem in any way.
Yeah.
Yay. Could you press the record?